Hi, I'm Min from Ponder. This is a second video that I'm making on the same day, but I'm gonna probably put up in the different days. But this is one of the stories that came from my students. So I had a student asking questions about something like this. Why we have preferences are changing over time as we grow up or age. For example, like a food. If just some kids like food when they are young, and then as they grow, then food pattern changes, right? And there's another student asking questions about, and then when this student asked me about this question, I asked her, hold on to that question because there's another question that is related that coming in. Well, this question is right asked from the class, but the other question was the one that students came in before, bring it in before the class, so I read it before. And another student asked a very interesting question, like, is that the brain the one that controlling me, or I'm the one controlling the brain? I asked why. And then this student goes, just kind of like feel like I'm not really 100% controlling my brain by myself. So I asked get back to the first student, asking, okay, yeah, you asked questions that why that the preference of something like a food is changing over as the people age, right? Yeah. So does it mean that you are the one changing the preferences actively, or is it the brain that actually makes you think that you like this food better compared to when you are young? And the student says, well, I didn't really change myself, but it is something like that brain kind of like tells me that I like this one better compared than compared to when I was young that which I didn't like, something like that. So I came back to the second student who asked the question about which one is the controlling brain, or is it brain, or is it me controlling the brain, or is it the brain controlling the me? Then I asked this students saying that, okay, for you, if someone is changing over time, that the preferences, that's the brain that actually working that I like coffee better. Now, when I was a kid, I didn't like coffee, or something like this happens. Then, do you think it is you who changed the preference, or is it the brain to change the preference? And the students knows the answer, right? Yeah. So basically, that it is the brain that changing the preference for that specific situation. So I asked second question, go like, okay, then in your life, have you ever changed? Have you ever actually controlled the brain? For example, let's say if you wanted to, if you have exams tomorrow, then you know you won't have to study to pass this course. But because you kind of like don't want it to do, and then you just wanted to play game, and you just push the textbooks away, and have you just play the games and then go to the sleep or something like that. Have you done like this? They said yes, many of them, right? So what does this mean is that people, what you think is that you actually actively controlling your brain, but many of you probably are not really. It is rather brain controls you instead of you controlling the brain. For example, if you wanted to have something that so badly, like if you like smartphones or computers or something, if you wanted to eat something that is delicious, and then if that makes you agitated and try to get it, if you wanted to travel somewhere that people say that it is beautiful, what that means is that it is not you controlling your brain, it is brain controls you. The reason is this: brain is the one that you think that you are able to controlling part is something that the logical part. Okay, that's the real brain part of you. Other brain parts, there's instincts to make it over time, through the evolution, that this instinct built in. So that there's something that you like will make you to survive and then constantly continue over your bloodstream. Next generation over the generation. Because of that, there's a preferences set on one side of the brain. And something like a habit. If you are have a habit, you have to do this over every single day, and then if you don't do it, then you kind of feel what should I do? I might lose this game or something like that. That means your brain is kind of fixed to the routines. That means that you are not the one controlling your brain. Brain is controlling you. Okay. So over time, the instinct built inside of the brain as well. So there's a different part of the brain. One side instinct, one side logical thinking. That is the real you. So if your body follows this instinct all the time, and majority of the time, then your life is not going to be really free or enjoyable. The reason is simple. Think about it. If you wanted to have delicious food, and then you cannot really get it because either the time, or either you are far away, or either you don't have enough money, then you will keep thinking about it, and that thought will take up entire brain. That means this is animal brain, not human brain. If you wanted to travel somewhere, but situation makes you not really be able to travel, and if you are being agitated and not focusing on your work, that's animal brain, instinct, human brain instinct. Then what that means is your brain, real you is boxed inside of this instinct, animal instinct, because all animals have with brains have a similar tendency. They have life style same over and over. For example, salmon, they do exactly same lifespan, even though they don't have to learn from their parents. They just came back to the same and over. Okay. Logical brain the logical brain exists because that this one makes the individual to break out from this just constant routine cycle. For example, you have to do every certain activities before you going into the exam, to take the exam or games or something. You know it is not logical, right? You do the same thing, then you will probably win. No, that's not the logical thinking. Logical thinking is that you have to think about when you're taking the exam, when you have a higher score, then you have to think about what you did to take that exam. If you wanted to win a game, then you have to think about what you did for the training, what you did during the game, how you played. Then you can develop these new strategies. Then you can get out of these cycles. Okay? So logical brain is being controlled. The logical brain is, for now, majority of the time, many of you will, logical brain is actually boxed in under this instinct, so that is being controlled by the illogical and instinct. So if you wanted to study and if you wanted to change your life free and enjoyable, then what you need to do is you need to learn how to use your logical brain and break out this cycle. If you have an exam tomorrow, then you have to study today. With logical brain, you have to make yourself that proceed to the study. To make that portion part easier than the one that I just made before, before this video, that methodology how to study, that's the basics. Even though it is the basics, if you follow that, then you will be able to really change your life, because your logical brain will gradually take over the instinct, and then you will be the one that are controlling the instinct, controlling the brain, instead of a brain controlling you. Okay. So I wanted to, from this video, what I wanted to share is that, you know, study methodology is not just simply to build the knowledge or concept. It will be able, you will be able to change your life from miserable suffering to actually enjoyable and free from stress. Okay. So I'm gonna come back with a little bit different story how these study methods affect you into the real life in the next time with this type of short video whenever I have time to make a video.